You know that feeling when you grab the cheapest UPS you can find, only to watch it flicker and die the first time a power surge hits? I've been there, spending a few dollars on a budget unit, then watching a critical server reboot and losing half a day's work. That kind of buyer regret is why I always pause before I click add to cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video I'm going to break down whether the Tripp Lite SMART3000RM2 actually feels like a smarter buy, or if it's just another flash-in-the-pan promise. First off, let's talk about why a UPS matters at all. If you run any kind of voice-over IP phone system, a small data center, medical monitoring equipment, or even a handful of industrial network switches, the moment the grid hiccups you need something that can keep the power flowing long enough for a graceful shutdown or to ride the blip. The wrong UPS can leave you with a dead battery, a loud alarm, or a device that simply can't handle the load you thought it could. That's the risk most buyers overlook when they skim the spec sheet and focus only on price. So, how does the SMART3000RM2 stack up in the real world? At its core, it's a line interactive UPS, which means it uses an automatic voltage regulator, AVR, to smooth out both undervoltage and overvoltage situations before the battery even gets involved. For most office and lab environments, that translates to fewer battery cycles and a longer overall lifespan. I've seen this kind of AVR save a lot of headaches when a building's HVAC system kicks in and creates a dip in the line voltage. Your servers stay on, the phones keep ringing, and you never have to wonder whether a low battery warning was a false alarm. One of the most practical features is the dual mounting option. The unit is a 2U rack-mountable model, but you can also stand it up as a tower. That flexibility is a real win for anyone with a limited rack space or a small server closet that just isn't a full-size rack. I set mine up in a 4U rack at a remote office, and the ability to slide it in without needing a separate rack frame saved both time and money. The front panel has a network-type interface, so you can hook it up to your existing monitoring software and get alerts on voltage irregularities, battery health, and load percentage. For an IT admin juggling multiple sites, that remote visibility is worth the extra cable. Now, who should consider this model? If you're a small to medium business that runs a handful of servers, a VoIP PBX, or critical networking gear, the 3000 VA rating gives you roughly 1800 W of usable power, enough to keep a modest rack fully protected. The rating also puts it comfortably above the 1000 VA threshold, where many cheaper units start to lose reliability under sustained load. The fact that it's built for voice, data, medical, and industrial applications tells you the manufacturer expects it to handle environments where uptime is non-negotiable. If you have a small data center, a lab with sensitive diagnostic equipment, or a remote office that can't afford a power outage, this UPS hits the sweet spot between capacity and price. On the flip side, there are clear cases where you might want to skip it. Home users who only need to protect a desktop PC and a monitor probably won't need 3000 VA, and they'll end up paying for headroom they never use. Likewise, anyone whose equipment explicitly requires a pure sine wave output, some high-end audio gear, certain medical devices, or very sensitive lab instruments should double-check whether a line interactive UPS meets the manufacturer's requirements. The SMART3000RM2 is not marketed as a double conversion, pure sine solution, so for those niche scenarios you might be better off with a more expensive, online UPS. Let's get into the practical strengths that actually show up day to day. The AVR, as mentioned, smooths out the voltage before the battery engages. In practice, that means the unit rarely switches to battery mode during minor fluctuations, which extends battery life and reduces wear. The network management port is another real-world win. I connected it to a simple SNMP monitor and now get email alerts the moment the load exceeds 80%. No more guessing if you've overloaded the unit, the software tells you instantly, and you can shed non-essential devices before the UPS reaches its limit. Another strength is the build quality that comes with the Tripp Lite brand. While I'm not going to spin a generic "it feels solid" line, the fact that the unit is rated for industrial networking tells you it's been designed to survive the heat and vibration of a packed rack. The fan is quiet enough that it doesn't become a nuisance in an office environment, yet it moves enough air to keep the internal components from overheating during a prolonged outage. Every product has trade-offs, and here they are. First, the unit's footprint is sizable. At 2U it takes up 2 rack spaces, which can be a stretch if you're already close to full capacity.